Hello, welcome to the Energy Career Cycle. My name is Ayodeji Stephen, as you know, and it's another episode of we're talking about our career and talking about how we can make progress in our career. So the Energy Career Cycle is designed to help you make progress on things like this. And today we're going to be speaking on creating a step-by-step entry plan into the clean energy sector. We're going to be focusing on how you can turn your interest into a clear-cut career direction, an action plan, and this is something very important. And I believe that it would help you and help the way you approach your career and also your growth. But also create a pathway that makes things easy for you to develop in your career in the sector. Now, why a career entry strategy matters? Because you need to have a strategy. Anything that doesn't have a strategy means it's not intentional, and anything that's not intentional is bound to fail. And even if it doesn't fail, it's going to be a bit more difficult than it necessarily should, because there is no strategy and there is no plan on how to go about it. Now, that in itself means that you need to have a strategy when it comes to your entry into the clean energy space. Now, because many people want to work in clean energy, but only very few people have a clear-cut entry plan. And the challenges that usually cause this, or the challenges that they experience, are related to things like not knowing which roles exist in the sector. Some do not even know, the industry, and because they don't understand the industry, they begin to get their hands on so many things, and because of that, there is no direction and there is no acceleration as it should be. And I usually would say that when there is no clarity, confusion sets in, and when there is confusion, growth is stunted. So another thing is that people have limited professional networks. And so it's important that you focus on building your professional network. This is part of your plan, because they will give you experience, they will give you leverage, and they would be able to guide you towards acceleration and growth in your career. And the last thing is certainty about required skills, because you need to ask yourself, what are the skills that are required for me to make my entry into the energy sector, and what kind of roles? So you need to know the roles, you need to gain some industry exposure. Now, industry exposure is not industry experience, it just means that you are exposed to the industry, you understand, at least you have met with people that understand, or you have learned, or you're learning from people that understand how the industry works, and also your professional networks. So you need to expand your professional networks, you need to meet with people, and a good way to do this is to go for conferences. And when you then become uncertain about the required skills, this could also be a problem for you to measure. And so the clean energy sector, because it is rapidly growing, as I've always said, it's an interconnectivity of different spaces, because you have renewable energy, you have the energy transition policy part, you have sustainable finance that you also could look into, energy technology, and also climate innovation. So there are several spaces that you can get into when it comes to the networking and interconnectivity of the clean energy space. And so without guidance and without a strategy, you can be lost in the midst of all of these things. So having a structured entry strategy helps you move from interest to opportunity and then to career. It helps you to move along the line faster and clearly without being lost in the lot of noise that could drown you in the sector. And so that's one of the reasons, or the major reason, why we are doing this episode, and we believe that it will help a lot of people. Now, the first thing you need to do is that you need to understand the clean energy landscape. That's the most important thing. Understanding is very important. Very, very important. So before you choose a career path, especially when it comes to the clean energy space, it's important for you to understand how the sector works, and key areas in the clean energy ecosystem that you need to grow your knowledge and understanding of includes things like renewable energy. Under renewable energy, you have solar, you have wind, you have hydro, you have geothermal, and you need to understand what each of these is and how your interest aligns with either all of them or one of them. And you need to find a niche. You have emphasized that a lot on our channel. You need to find a niche. This would be very important for your career growth and acceleration. Also, energy policy and regulation, things like government policies that relate with renewable energy and clean energy, climate agreement that are currently being made, and regulatory frameworks that are in place that are meant to guide, clean energy projects and clean energy deals in the sector. Also, another one is energy technology and innovation. You need to look into things like battery storage, hydrogen, and even smart grids. Which areas? Understand them. Not have in-depth knowledge, but at least understand how they work, and then you find a direction. Which one aligns with the direction in which you want to go, and make a decision. Make a decision quickly. It's important that decision is made, because that decision is going to guide your career as you go go up the ladder. And also energy finance, things like project finance, climate investment, carbon market. These are critical things that you need to understand. Energy access and development. Under it, you have things like off-grid energy, mini grids, and things like maybe energy poverty solutions. So your first step is to identify which area aligns with your interest and your skills. So you think about your interest, you think about your skills, but you first need to define where you're going to. You need to define which part of the sector, which part of the industry you are going to work, and how this align, how your skills and your interest, would further entrench you and encourage your growth and development in this sector. Secondly, you need to identify the skills that you need. Then you need to identify the skills that you need, because energy careers that grow require both technical and transferable skills. An example of technical skills that you will need include skills like energy systems knowledge, data analysis, renewable energy technologies. In terms of technical skills now, energy economics and policy analysis. Now, transferable skills that you can move from one role into another. And note, you need both. You cannot choose one, because for you to be versatile and for you to continue to improve in your usefulness, these transferable skills are even very, very important for that. So the transferable skills include things like research and analytical thinking. This cannot be overemphasized. I say this to anyone that wants to work in the energy sector and intends to grow, as they move forward in their career. You need to learn to write, you need to learn to speak. Those two things, so your communication skills, your research and writing skills, very important. Also analytical thinking. And these are things that you can grow in. I've dealt with all that. These things can be learned, skills can be developed, skills can be grown, right? And communication and writing, project management, stakeholder engagement. Very, very important skills. Your goal here will be to bridge the gap between your current skills and what the industry is currently demanding. So, because the industry is consistently and constantly shifting, so your plan would be to grow your knowledge and see where the gaps are, and for you on how to cover those gaps. And you make a plan. Currently in our mentorship program, we have our people develop their own career map. We give them a framework, but they develop their own career map. And for the next 1 year, we're going to be sitting down with them to map out how they are going to be growing their knowledge, courses they are going to be taking month by month, and we'll be making sure that they grow and they improve, and to see how that those courses and this new knowledge is being implemented, so that they are not just gaining knowledge, they are also applying the knowledge, which is understanding. Now, the third step is that you also need to now build experience. It's very important. Like I said, you learn, you apply. That's the experience. You learn, you apply. That's the experience, right? Now, experience does not always start with a full-time job. Now, for anyone coming to the energy sector, that's very important. We have emphasized so many times the importance of volunteering or internships. It doesn't always start with a full-time job. Your focus here is experience. In fact, I say this to people. In the first couple of years of your career, in the first, say, maybe 3 to 5 years of your career, your goal should be experience, not money. Please, it should be experience that you are solidifying. Now, I'm not saying you should not fend for yourself or make money, but your ultimate goal, your passion should be to grow your knowledge, to become the best in what you do, to solidify your capacity, right? You can build early experience through internships, maybe with energy companies or NGOs. You can work on research sub project or on energy topics. You can be a volunteer with climate organizations, or even get into energy competitions and hackathons. And you could also write thought pieces. All of these are things that if you reach out to us, we are able to put you on 1 or 2 projects, or even connect you with people in the industry that are working on such projects like this. So you can get experience, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be working in a full-time role. You can get experience without working in a full-time role. Now, because even small projects can demonstrate industry interest and capability. And what you want to show to an employer, you want to show to the industry, the signal, the stance you want to be taking in respect to the industry is that you are capable, you are competent, and you are ready to grow and hungry for progress. And that is very important. So, because employers usually value initiative and evidence of learning, that you are willing to learn, adapt, learn, adopt. So, learn, adapt, learn, adopt. They are different things, and you must consistently be willing to do that. So, you adopt in terms of you apply. So, these are very important things for anyone that is coming into the energy sector, and there's a strategy, which are the things that I'm sharing. And the fourth thing is that you build your energy network. You build your energy network. Networking is one of the most powerful career tools for acceleration, for growth of your career. 80% of jobs in the energy sector are gotten by networking. They are not posted on the internet. All right. So ways for you to build your network is, first, you attend webinars and conferences. I remember that my first internship, which was paid then, I met the CEO of that organization in a webinar, and I texted her on the webinar, and she responded and sent me the organization email, and I sent an email. After a while, they responded. I did an interview, and I got in. That job became my first full-time job, and that job gave me experience, which is still valuable to my career today. And a very big shout out to Clean Energy Hub for the opportunity that they gave me during the early days of my career. So you attend energy webinars and conferences. Now, you also can be a part of joint energy focused communities and programs. You can be part of joint energy communities, or maybe joint energy programs. You be a part of it, you participate, you volunteer your time, and also you can engage with professionals on LinkedIn. For any professional listening to me, please get active on LinkedIn. If you don't know how to reach out to us, or you're concerned about things, reach out to us, and we'll be happy to engage you in a 1 or 2 hour session to help you to get you on the right track. But please get your LinkedIn game on point. It's very important. Also, ask for informational interviews. You ask for people, you just tell people, I want to speak with you, and you share information, and then they share information back to you. All right. And also participate in mentorship programs. Like I said, we have a mentorship program called the Sledge Mentorship Program, and I believe that this is designed for any young person that wants to get into the energy sector today, because a strong network can help you to discover opportunities early. Some of the opportunities, like I said, they are not posted online, but your network can help you to get a whim of this information way ahead of others. You can also learn from industry professionals and also access hidden job market. So your network oftentimes becomes your career accelerator. Now, so your roadmap into your clean energy entry roadmap is something that can help you to create your career plan and complete your entry strategy, right? And so, to help you on this, I'm going to be giving you a couple of questions that you need to answer. Are you ready? Get your pen and your paper. Now, you should reflect on the following questions. First, which clean energy field interests you the most? Second, what skills do you currently have? What new skills, which is the third thing now, what new skills do you need to develop? What learning resources will you use? What organizations or companies interest you? What networking steps will you develop in the next 3 months? Your answers will form the first version of your clean energy career roadmap. So 3 practical steps as we bring this episode to an end. Number 1 is that you have to consistently learn. You must be one that is consistently given to learning. So you learn consistently. And so how do you do this? You take short courses, you read industry reports, you stay updated on current energy trends. Don't say it doesn't concern me, or maybe I'm not part of the deal. You need to learn those things because they will be your ladder. Information is very powerful in the energy sector. The energy sector is an information-laden sector, so you must be abreast of what is consistently going. And information is consistently being churned out by several organizations. So read and read and read and read. I remember that I got an opportunity to work with a multinational energy company. And on the interview before I got in, days before that interview, the company released a newsletter and they released some reports. And I read the newsletter and I read the report, which, it's my habit to always do. And in that interview, they asked me, they said, how do I consistently improve my knowledge? Guess what I did? I just mentioned specifically the reports in their latest newsletter. And I mentioned their name, that they were the ones that, put out the newsletter. What that did was, it showed them that, oh, this guy is actually telling the truth and he knows what he's doing. So, consistently read. You never can tell when this will become useful for you. Also, build visible work. Don't do your work and keep it in your laptop. Put it online. Write articles, publish research, put things on LinkedIn. Like I said, if you need help on this, reach out to us and we'll be ready to put you on how to go about this. Also, connect with the industry, engage professionals, volunteer on people's projects. That's how you meet more people in the energy sector and people working in the energy transition sector, because careers in clean energy, they are oftentimes built through continuous learning. In fact, it's not just oftentimes, they are always built through continuous learning, curiosity, and action. So you must be one that is consistently given to learning. You are curious and you consistently take action on the things you're learning. So it's not just about learning, it's also doing based on the things that you're learning. Now, so a way to go about this is you start small, you stay consistent, and you keep building your energy career pathway. And that's all on this episode of Energy Career Circle. I believe that you have learned something. Like I said, you can reach out to us and you can search my website. Maybe if you need more information on how to get to me, it's at ayodejistephen.com. ayodejistephen.com. Thank you so much, and see you on the next episode of the Energy Career Circle. Bye.
Energy Career Circle, featuring Ayodeji Stephen.